move like a will.
Twitch is updated.
I'll probably bring it up during the last story because I think Kojima would actually really happily do what they did to Darth Vader to himself if he died. I think Kojima would be like, make an AI that replicates my personality and put it in every single game that I make from here on.
Yeah. Like, make the choice for yourself to be this weird, especially like Kojima and what his role is, like him turning himself into an AI character seems very in line with him, and I have no qualms.
I think he would literally say, turn me into a scary ghost.
Yeah, but like, you fucking like his. A lot of his bullshit is like, maybe technology has gone too far.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, technology has gone too far. Let me be a monument to our sin.
I think it's like, I'm about to die. I'm leaving hell. You guys get to stay.
Well, God. Fucking A.
All right, we ready?
Capture my essence, as they once believed cameras did.
We're in a bad place if that happens.
I mean, like,
Well,
we're kind of there.
Yeah. All right.
Let's go. Let's do this. May 18th, 2025. You're here listening to the Super Gamecast, your source for video games and video game industry news. My name is Aaron Reynolds. I'm joined by Bronson Fiore. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. I think it's South of Midnight this weekend.
Hey, all right. How is it?
Yeah.
Short. One sentence.
Pretty good. I like it.
Ringing endorsement. Hey, that's all right. Well, fantastic. Hopefully we get to hear more about that in the future. Then we got Duncan Crabtree over here. How you doing?
That's me. I certainly am doing. I played more Oblivion this week.
More Oblivion. How's more Oblivion going?
I have 200,000 mana and 500 strength.
I know nothing about Oblivion, so I'm just gonna. That's good. Good job.
Big numbers. I'm a big cat and I run around and I punch people. I also have like 800 speed when I set everything up, so I like zip across the map like very quickly. It's great.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah.
I've been playing that game, replicating the 360 experience. I've been playing on my Xbox quality mode, so it's 30 FPS.
Yeah.
And walking everywhere.
The true experience.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Well, just to round out what we've been playing, I've been playing a little gacha game called Tribe 9 that just announced end of service for November. So that crashed and burned because of business incompetence. Maybe we'll check it out later in some future content. But
I'm sitting here being like, a gacha game dying. Well, finally.
Well, what's really funny is
never happened.
The big killer of it was they like set the prices real high and then like the drop rates were crazy low, and so people who were into gachas were like, yeah, no, and so they changed it afterwards, but it was too late.
What was that gacha that came out that it got canceled like the same week as its English release?
I have no idea, but that sounds great.
Yeah, that was a funny thing that happened.
All right. Well, other than that, we should probably get into the news, which, man, is more depressing than the things we've been talking about. But we got to get to it. It's time to start talking about these things. Someone's got to.
Yep.
And that's us.
Let's do it.
No one else is doing it. Don't look anywhere else. So, all right. Bungie.
Yeah, no, we're the only video game news show, actually.
We really are. I don't know if you noticed. We're the only one that really talks video games. Everyone else is faking it.
I don't know why. It's this weird underserved market. I don't know what's going on. It really
is. It's strange. Video games not really represented on the internet. It's odd. Bungie confirms it stole art once again and will undertake a thorough review of Marathon assets, which, let me tell you, the pictures I saw of this, I don't... the suggestion of a thorough review, like they didn't know what they were doing. I don't know, man.
I just, well, that's corpo bullshit speak is what that is.
Well, right.
Like, you know that's what that is. It's corpo bullshit speak.
An important element to that is that this is the fourth time they've said that, and it's still happened for a fourth time. So Bungie is in fact known for this to happen about once a year.
I'm just reminded of Rick and Morty, the here I go killing again guy. But oh boy, here I go stealing art again.
Yeah.
Let's go see here.
This is a situation too where this creator Anti-Real has had Bungie artists following her on Twitter for like a long time. And it's clear that this person hasn't just worked effectively as inspiration for the art design of Marathon, but also just a lot of like Destiny stuff too. Like,
yep,
it's this person hasn't had stuff directly ripped from them until now, but like they make branding posters that are very much along the lines of the sort of thing Bungie has put into their stuff for a long time now.
This is fucking so fucking gross.
So
it's really the only way I can say it.
Yeah, if you go, I don't know, I found some tweets kind of showing some of the images. This PC Gamer article doesn't show a lot of them. It just shows this one, and you got the red square around the design. Now, you may be looking at that and be like, that's the simplest ass design. They stole that, and yeah. you look at the images and it's like, these are not like crazy designs to make, but they totally like are lifting stuff from this person's art and putting it in. It's like, you really couldn't have come up with that yourself, huh? Okay.
I'll say this seems like mostly innocent. It always is with Bungie. It's mostly innocent mistakes by artists who are effectively creating like collages and stuff of like inspiration material, a lot of which will come from either fan content or creators online that already make stuff that have a similar aesthetic to what they do.
Well, that's fine, but like putting it in the game itself,
right? They are just clearly mixing up like assets that they've been using.
Then they need to find a new process for that, because this is what you said, the fourth time.
And they needed to do this 3 mistakes ago.
Like this is fucking ridiculous.
So the other examples are that Destiny 2 had a Nerf gun. I believe it was an ornament for an exotic. I think it was the Galahorn.
Wow.
So they had an ornament for an exotic that made it look like a Nerf gun that was like pretty clearly a replication of something that a fan artist had already done. And then they also had a fan art of Zivur Roth that they just used in the trailer for the Witch Queen expansion. And they're just like, whoops. That's just fan art in there.
Yeah. Or if you're using this person's work enough, like hire them.
That too. Like I kind of came to my mind just like, okay, well, if you keep stealing this person's art constantly, maybe consider just giving them a job.
Yeah, and they even touch on that when they were talking about what's happening, because they said, obviously obviously Bungie isn't obligated to give me a job, but they should at least stop pilfering the artwork that I make. And they specifically say it's been really hard for them over, the past 10 years making nothing close to a living off of their artwork, and seeing major companies take inspiration from them for a long time now, despite the fact that they can't even do this professionally.
Right.
Right, which that would imply, oh, my art is in fact good enough. It's just all these other, like then the companies don't want to hire me for some reason.
Right.
Yeah,
You're more
it's
than
the
happy to steal
opportunity's
from me.
never actually been presented. They're happier to steal from them or take someone they already have and tell them copy that person's vibe and not hire on a new person.
Be really funny if like go to interviews and like, well, I'm good enough for Bungie to steal from.
That's right. Yeah. It's put this in your resume.
True.
I was looking at some images and I forget if it was this incident or a prior incident, but someone in their art hid the loss meme and it got put in the game.
Right. Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, I believe that did happen. But so the second story here, of course, is the logical follow-up that Bungie has pulled Marathon gameplay after art plagiarism story, and it's reviewing all art. So they've taken down a bunch of stuff so that they could, clean it, rub it clean of all of its theft.
I kind of don't. After 4 times, I don't want to believe this is like innocent.
All right.
Well, like I like that. Like first time. Okay, yeah, that's an accident. Sure, that's that shit sucks. But like when we're on trip number 4 here, I'm like, you guys are doing this fucking on purpose.
Well, an important note of the story is that the artists who did all of these instances of theft don't work there anymore.
Oh man, yeah.
So like it really is just a process problem. It's that it was done by different people every time, and they don't work there. So like what if it was malicious, it would be the malicious actions of an individual, and getting rid of them would solve the problem. But getting rid of them didn't solve the problem. Mm-hmm. So it's a set of innocent mistakes by individuals as a result of a poorly handled process.
Yeah, they got to figure that out. Unreal.
Bungie has a lot of shit to figure out, and
they do.
Quite frankly, I think if Marathon doesn't go well, which I don't think it will, pretty much everyone is negative on that. I think it was Alpha that was recently.
Yeah.
And this new Bungie and this new Destiny expansion doesn't go well, which I don't think it will because I have heard no interest in it. And I looked at it and I'm like, this looks lame as fuck.
I'll certainly play it and I'll let you know.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Please do.
If it has a raid. Doesn't have a raid, I might not.
Yeah, it does have a new raid. Then
I'm playing it.
All right.
Great. Enjoy it. Let me know how it is. I'm not coming back. I had the thought, like, I like having a regular shooter in my rotation.
Yeah.
And as such, getting a little burnt out by rivals. I'm just kind of chipping away at the battle pass, and that's it. So I was like, I'm going to play another shooter. Wasn't in the mood for Halo, so I booted up COD. But I had that brave thought of maybe I should load up some Destiny PvP again. And then the demon that was possessing me, I broke free. And then I went and I looked at this new trailer, and I'm just like, this looks like more of the same old bullshit.
Yeah.
So new expansion, The Edge of Fate.
Okay. And
what it's about. Yeah. They explicitly ran out of story content. I guess it's probably about Ziva Roth. They're probably like, let's go get that fucking bug.
So this is what they say. The first chapter of a new Destiny saga is here. Guardians will venture into the unknown where the mysteries of the cosmos and the Nine await. Follow the call to Kepler.
Know what it's about.
What's it about?
It's about the schism of the Nine. Which has been a background element of the story that's been brewing for a long time. The Nine are like these mysterious godlike beings that you only ever meet one of. It's a horse. It's a horse made of stars.
Nice.
Yeah, I know Star Horse.
Star Horse. Star Horse is one of the Nine. And it's some kind of godlike being, and it's there's 9 of them, and some of them don't like the other ones now, it seems like, and that's been an element that's been brewing in the background for a long time. So it's probably going to be an expansion about that finally reaching a crescendo, and they're going to not like each other.
Players should choose their star god to fight for. That's what I think.
I mean, I gotta pick Star Horse.
Okay, see now, see, they did a Helldivers thing where like people siding with certain gods and their performance affects where the story goes.
Yeah,
I might be into this.
It would be
actually
good.
Okay.
They could, but Bungie has always had this problem of if you ask it to implement even the smallest thing, for some reason it's like one of Hercules' great labors to make anything change at all. So there's no way they're introducing a factional system that makes sense. I mean, they long since abandoned factional systems when Destiny 2 started. They had them in Destiny 1, and even then they didn't work good. So
I mean, if you can't make it work good, then then I guess don't do it. But it's just that's a fun way to get people invested, and also invested in the story.
It is cool. It's cool, and I want them to do it.
There's a part of me that like is I'm glad they're continuing to explore Destiny. I don't know about in the context of Destiny 2. I feel like Destiny 2 ran its course.
That Destiny mobile game coming.
Yeah, well,
the Destiny mobile by the people who brought you Diablo Immortal.
Great. So it'll make them money.
Hopefully that doesn't make money. Unfortunately, it'll probably make a lot of money.
It'll probably make money.
Destiny Rising.
Oh my God!
It's an alternate timeline.
Do you remember?
It's an alternate timeline.
Bronson, do you remember that Giant Bomb clip where they just go through all of the terms of like we don't know what to do with this property? So like here, Rising, Storm, Origins.
Rising Storm, Origins, Return.
Yep. There was a long list.
Yeah, no, but there's a lot of
rebooting it with its original name.
Yep.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah. And just I can't believe they went with Rising. Unbelievable. We were joking about
Destiny
that over
Rising.
10 years ago.
First closed alpha starts in November.
Ooh, Legends.
That's another one. Yep.
Legends is a good one.
That's one. All right. God.
Yeah, and then to go back to the Destiny expansion, fate shifted. Something is manipulated time to get our attention. Guardians will travel into the deep hidden corners of Soul, responding to a call that will shake their perceptions of reality. Yep.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be a weird expansion.
I mean, the footage does not seem weird. The footage seems like more Destiny.
Yeah, it's probably going to be all like sandy. I'm expecting a lot of sand.
I mean, so in this trailer, there really isn't that much sand. I mean, there's some sand.
That's surprising. All the 9 stuff has all been filled with sand.
There's this lady that's like was a ghost, like darkness person, and then turned into what looks like a guardian. So that was neat, I guess. And then for the gameplay, it looks like Destiny.
Looks like Destiny. Interesting.
All right.
So our next story.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next story. Bungie, get your shit together. Whoop. Get your shit together, and
they never will.
Yeah,
no, they won't. They can't do it.
Just make Destiny 3 and fix all the engine issues, so that way we can actually, enjoy the game with new ideas and stuff.
No,
I don't know. Anyway,
let's vault more content.
All right, next news story. Hey, PS5, it be selling.
Yes,
to be selling.
yeah. In spite of all the negative sentiment towards consoles and whatnot, it is barely behind PS4 in total sales at the same point in life, which
Yeah,
is wild because.
Well,
Sorry, go
it
ahead.
just indicates to me that this would have been a much more successful console if it weren't released when it was and with the conditions it was.
Oh yes, if this thing was like, if this thing did not come out during record high inflation, so it could actually price drop, then yeah, like this thing would be wildly more successful than PS4 was. It's just that it's still, as it has been most of its life, $400 to $500.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that it's going to get a big boost from GTA 6 whenever that happens.
Well,
But,
and
yeah.
they were hoping like the big hope here was that it would finally surpass PS4 by getting the GTA 6 boost.
Yep.
But it's not happening this year, so it's not happening right away.
Yeah, well, I think that it could get worse, which that's in the next news story.
That is the next news story.
I think that like there is still a big appeal for consoles. I know that there's a lot of sentiment in our community and a lot of communities where it's just like, well, just get a PC, and a lot of people don't want to put up with the initial high buy-in costs, and a lot of people also don't want to put up with playing tech support when they can just put in a disc and or download a game and go. It's just that, due to the economy of the entire planet, this thing is not doing as well as it potentially could have because, record high inflation made cutting price on this impossible. So
yeah.
Yep.
Now that said, even with rising prices for the consoles themselves, and even the games, it ends up being a cheaper option if you're playing those kind of AAA titles than going to PC for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely. Like if you want to play even one big AAA game that requires a newer GPU, something like Spider-Man 2 or something like Cyberpunk or something like that, like then yeah, it is easily more cost effective. And most indie games that are like popular do end up making it out to console.
Right.
I think the only game I've played this year that isn't on PS5 is Chimera Blade.
I mean,
Like, yeah, that's
my favorite game of all time, an indie game, isn't on consoles, unfortunately.
Sure.
Noita?
Yeah, good old Noita. Yeah, I mean, a lot of indie games that PC will always have a hand over the consoles with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Noita's one of those games where its design is so specific that I don't think it can be on consoles because you can't get that game to have controller support.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, now that I think about it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I do think that
Go ahead.
What I was gonna say is like I look at I keep a running tab of my top 10 games of every year, and I think other than World of Warcraft, and Lost Ark, I think those are the only experiences that I have on these that are not on that you couldn't do on a console.
Right.
I'm just like, yeah, it makes sense. And then people don't want to put up with technical issues. Like I booted up Doom: The Dark Ages this week, and thankfully it's been running fine on PC. But there have been issues where people were just like, well, like I booted up the game and the first thing it did is ask me to update to a specific graphics driver, because I hadn't updated the newest NVIDIA driver.
But that's a trap.
The second thing it does is just like, hey, it throws a little blurb. Hey, we know there have been crashing problems. We're working with our partners at AMD and NVIDIA to get it fixed. Okay, enjoy the game. And I'm like, that inspires a lot of confidence.
Well,
does not.
So here's the thing. What a lot of people noticed was with Doom, when you boot it up and say, hey, update your graphics driver because it'll be, it'll make it have less problems. And then updating the graphics driver would cause it to have those problems.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so. I updated the graphics driver, and I did not experience problems.
This
But
is what
like
happened for a
that's.
lot of people.
Oh no, I'm saying that like, man, I am glad that I did not fuck myself over.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no. So it's been really just like that kind of stuff, though. Very much is a big part of why, especially because I'm, my job. I'm at this desk all day, and then I work on the videos here all day. So it makes it so the last thing I want to do is fucking game on this
Yeah.
desk and in my relaxation time. Like I am literally playing Oblivion at a worse frame rate just to avoid its death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So be sometimes. I think
Uh,
relevant to the story is our next story. Is that Sony is considering price rises amid $685 million impact on its business from tariffs. So it seems like they're considering making the PS5 even more expensive than it already is.
Yep.
Yeah. They already did this like for the rest of the world, and the math probably broke out to where like shit doing that we can't like. Nah, they're also considering manufacturing in the U.S., which they'll look at for all of 10 seconds and go, nah, dude.
And they go, yeah, not
Um,
feasible. Whoops.
Whoops. Okay. Moving on. And I mean, it sucks. And the thing
Yeah.
is prices rarely go down. So I said back when the PS5 Pro came out that like, oh yeah, consoles are going to be $600 to $800 going forward if this thing does well. I didn't even need to add the if this thing does well. Apparently,
No, it just
Yeah.
was gonna happen.
Yep. Yep. I did not. To be fair, I did not see into the future where our president would want to put on tariffs of up to 145% on other countries.
Still 30%.
But oh right, that got sorry. He keeps backpedaling and changing shit as we go. So
He put a
hard to
90-day
say.
pause on, but there's still a 30% tariff, and they can't really get around that. So, like, what do you do?
We actually got comments on our last tariff story, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Someone commented, "Boo hoo, go to the gym instead," which that was super funny.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Pretty
That's
good.
fantastic.
I'm pretty sure
Thank
that's
you.
a fat.
Great.
I'm pretty sure that's a fat joke directed at me, but hey. And then you tell us all about your feelings on the matter in your new book titled "Wah."
What?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Deeply clever.
I responded to him with "Wah," like Wario goes "Wah." Are you more of a Waluigi guy? So
Yeah.
What?
Right, is it a wah or a wah? There's different kinds of wahs.
I'm not gonna win.
It's yeah.
Right.
People have weird feelings about these things.
They do.
They do.
It's super
So
funny.
that's
Listen,
funny.
The only political problem that matters in the world is me and my video games. And if you get in between me and my video games, I guess I need to freak out. I guess that's how it works.
Yes,
So-
absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, that's what's funny about some of those commenters is like you can tell it's like they care about video games and then they also support Trump, and you get to see which one wins out depending on the video.
Right.
Good lord.
So this sucks, but also I'm not surprised. And video games have always been an expensive hobby, especially if you want to play the new releases as they come out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is now going to be moving into a luxury hobby.
Right.
Yeah.
It is like when you're talking about the cheapest thing in the ecosystem is about, I'm not going to include the Series S because no one ever buys the damn thing. And even then, it's $380. Like, that's not a low amount of money. And then the next is a Switch 2, which is $450. There's just no new entry points for the ecosystem.
The thing is
it's a
other hobbies are really expensive. Doing stuff costs a lot of money. I think that video games, even at these higher prices, are still a better value proposition than a lot of things. I mean, have you ever tried to play Warhammer?
Oh yes, I am super into movies. A 2-hour movie, like, and I'm not talking about theater, like buying a movie and running at my home theater, right? So like a 2 to 3 hour movie, if I want to get in the best quality possible, is $30 to $40. Like if I keep a list of Blu-rays I'm intending to buy. One of the ones I'm intending to buy is the 4K, Matrix collection, 4 movies,
yes.
and it's $63. Which that's like 8 hours of content. And if I don't watch the making of, but that's still like the price of a video game almost for significantly less content. That said, I don't know, dude. It just always seems like I realize video games are technically cheaper than ever, but also this hobby compared to some other hobbies I've had is like mad expensive. Like I got really into powerlifting for a while, and that was a super cheap hobby. $30 gym membership, and then change my diet a little bit to facilitate it.
Which generally speaking, changing your diet for anyone who has a diet that isn't already specifically set is actually like cost negative. It as we eat less food, we save money. I've been on a diet myself recently, and I'm spending 30% less money on food.
Dude, you want
really good.
You want to talk about, like, I've been trying to eat out less this year, and the past 2 months I've been really good about it, and because of that I've noticed the impact on my like savings almost immediately.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it costs money to do stuff, but it's like video games, I feel, are reaching this point where the average person, for the hardware especially, software is always going to be in this like variable price range, right? Where you're going to have games as low as $5. Like I saw Digimon Cyber Sleuth, a very good Pokemon like, on sale for $5 this week. Like, that is a 30 to 40 hour video game.
What do you think is the cheapest hobby? I think
drawing.
It's hiking.
Walking?
Ooh, drawing's a good one though. Drawing's a good one because your cost of entry for a tablet is high if you're getting the digital art. If you're physically drawing, I think it can actually be more expensive because the cost of art supplies are very expensive.
I mean, if you're just trying to learn to draw, it's just pencil and paper.
Yeah, but if it's a hobby, you're gonna advance, right? Like over time, you're gonna advance, and so eventually you're gonna start purchasing art supplies. So like in my instance, my sister, she does a lot of pen and paper drawing, and she spent quite a bit of money on that over time.
I mean, let's say you wanted to get into digital art, like probably the lowest entry point is like an iPad Air, which is like $600, and then I don't know what the good drawing. So it's like I think 130. I actually don't know how much of that.
I have a drawing tablet that does the job, and it's cheaper than that. But yeah.
I'm going to the one that a lot of people recommend. Like artists who recommend like an iPad Air.
Well, sure, but artist friends tend to recommend the Apple product, which is a wild price.
Yeah.
I think the tablet $500 to $600 isn't that unreasonable. But,
I paid like $300 for mine. It was fine. It's like one of the brands that people often recommend. It's just not Apple.
Yeah.
To me, ironically, my artist friend also hates Apple. She recommends T, which is like a way end.
Oh Lord.
It is perfect for drawing though.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, those tablets at that price are wild.
I feel like you're lasting
actually,
probably 5 to 6 years off of that entry price. So hobby costing $600, like $100 a year. It's pretty good.
That's not bad. It's you know, and then how many games are you buying? Are you willing to play old games? Oh, Apple Pencil got cheaper, only $80, huh?
I gotta replace mine. Mine broke.
I haven't bought a tablet in 11 years, so like that's where I'm at. It's like I haven't bought a tablet in 11 years, and I'm like kind of thinking about getting one because this is the rattiest e-reader of all time at this point.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, it's literally bending. It's literally asking for death.
Ugh, God.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get back into drawing as a hobby, and that's like I'm not good at it. So it's just like pencil, paper. All right, let's draw some circles. Let's draw some straight lines from point A to point B. Let's do some stuff. And like, I am not going to have to spend very much money on drawing for a while until I'm able to draw something coherent.
So if you want to talk about like cheap hobbies, this is assuming you already do a little bit of it to survive. But like, I feel like cooking, would be a very affordable hobby if you already like. Because like I've done.
I mean, if you go crazy, it's a problem.
I know I have multiple friends who have gone on their chef arc where they're like, oh, I'm gonna get way into cooking, and all of them have just dumped insane amounts of money into it. It's that they get into these like, oh, I gotta do this and that and this recipe, and they end up making meals that are like $140 of stuff for like 3 people.
Yep.
You know, this goes back to the drawing thing though. Is like, you can start drawing and have a good time drawing with a pen and paper. You can, I mean, dude, you could steal a computer and then pirate every game.
Yeah.
That you want, right?
There's a difference between legally buying a pen and paper or cooking with the pots you own.
Why buy the pen and paper when I could just rob a school child and take their notebook and pencils?
Yeah, do that. No, go
to the library.
Go to your
they'll let
local
you.
elementary school. Yeah, go to the library and just steal a bunch of shit, you know.
Right.
And then there you go. There's your gaming computer, the stolen library computer, and you'll pirate video games, and then there you go.
Right. It's just every hobby has its poverty options. The issue is that as you get into something, you're gonna end up being like, well, I spend enough time on this that I'm willing to start putting money into it.
I will say that like cooking, dumping money into cooking makes sense to a degree because it's the food. It's the food you need to survive.
Yeah.
But that's pretty good.
Right.
Video games. Oof.
And then also like after you have the tools, those tools, if you get good cooking tools, those will literally last most of your fucking life.
Yeah, but those are like expensive, right? Unless you know the brands.
I don't know. My parents had a crock pot that lasted. It was like we had that thing from before when I was born, right? And it lasted until like a couple years ago.
Sure.
So I mean,
it's about knowing where to get the good stuff, which I don't.
Yeah.
But you know, hey, we have the collective of all human knowledge. You just got to go search for it.
Put it into Chat GPT. Let's figure this out.
Oh,
Aaron, if you draw for 2 hours a day for the next 3 years, at some point over that time, you're probably gonna buy stuff to invest in that experience being improved.
I never got good at drawing, and I invested in getting a tablet to get to the idea of getting good.
So I don't think that you can consider the poverty perspective on any hobby as the potential cost of the hobby, because you're gonna spend a bunch of money on stuff if you engage with it heavily. Like when I think about
that's
hiking,
why
I think
didn't-
actually hiking gets expensive because you start buying special shoes and you start buying, oh, I'm going to buy a camel bag. Oh, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. And then,
those walking stick thingies. What if
Yeah.
what they're called? You know, I get it. It's it's exactly why when I said like discounting the Series S, because I mean, if you really want the cheapest video game option right now, you buy a used Series S and get Game Pass. There you go. You're done. You're paying like $16 a month, and you
Yeah.
have like 400 games. You're done. There you go.
you have an incredible library, and it's just like, and that'll last you actually years.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here thinking like, okay,
So,
PC
yeah,
price, getting a PC of any kind that can play video games is, a high enough price point that like getting a console would be more cost effective. And then the console prices are rising, so even that's like rough. But then, like, what? It's Steam Deck and Switch, and then try to get good games on your phone.
I mean, yeah, like are good phone games, but like
Sure.
if you,
But it's a different place.
Priced out a. Yeah, I recently priced out a build for Emily. She's considering like getting more in on the content side of things and like PC gaming and whatnot.
All right.
And like I wanted to give her the most console-like experience possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, okay, this is something that is going to last 7 to 8 years and not have to be upgraded, and where you can play every AAA game that comes out at minimum at like a PS5 quality, right? Like that, along with being able to make or edit video. And yeah, dog, it was like $2,300, $2,500.
Ah,
Yeah,
God.
Yikes.
Okay.
I probably could have trimmed it down to 1,900 if I really tried, like really cut some big corners.
Damn.
And and that's not even factoring it, and that's just the tower. That's not included because she doesn't have a keyboard and mouse.
Mm-hmm.
So she would have to get both of those. So I got her a decent keyboard and mouse, and she doesn't even have a monitor. So that's $200 right there. And like
Yeah.
so all together, you're looking at like $3,000
God.
just to get something that's going to last a long time. Like not run into the issue that Lucy used to have, where it's like, oh fuck, I need to replace this part and that part and this part because I didn't do the homework. So yeah, like it's an expensive as fuck hobby. And I think that you can trim that down a little bit more as well, because like if you're willing to go every 5 years, if you're willing, just you can do little
Right.
things, but it's just like, or upgrade over time. That's an option. I always hate the upgrade over time option.
Yeah.
I can't fucking stand it.
Yeah.
I want to pay one big upfront cost and then only open my computer for cleaning.
Yeah. There's also always the possibility of the cost negative hobby, which I consider more of a hustle than a hobby.
Right.
But like if you make a hobby of fixing up cars and you go to govdeals.com and you buy $150 cars with minor issues and then fix them and resell them, you're making a ton of money. Like that's totally cost negative.
I mean, but the problem is, can you find a car that's $150 or somewhere close to that price point that only has a minor issue, and then send that back out?
Yes.
You probably could.
That doesn't cost money, like too much money on your end, because that feels like something that like dealers would be going out to get and snatching it from the individuals.
You can find working cars for $200 on govdeals.com.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. It's just it's just a really weird and specific circumstance. GovDeals is a weird website because it's auctions of repossessed.
That's right. It's repossession.
Seized or it's repossessed, seized, or like bankruptcy assets
Eesh.
that are all being auctioned by the government because they have to be auctioned.
Right.
And some dealerships I think do get involved with them, but you have to be local because you only have 5 days to pick an item up after you win an auction for it. So if your local dealership isn't doing it, then like then nobody's doing it.
I wonder if you could find the people
like,
who had their car taken from them, then buy their car for $200 and give it back to them.
Right.
Because like that's
There you
bullshit.
go.
That'd be really cool to do. I mean,
Here
you
go. Here's
can
your
do it with the
bus.
VIN number, right? Like if you have the VIN number, you can look at previous owners and go track them down.
That's
I
right.
guess.
Yeah. All right.
It's most commonly bankrupt business vehicles. So
okay.
like you get a lot of like decommissioned airport vehicles or buses or like trucks that were part of a business that are now, like a couple $100. I found the car that I drive. I found the car that I drive for $1,400. It's an $8,000 car.
Right.
And it was completely working.
All right. Well, that might be not a bad option.
Like I really love building computers as a hobby, but like I looked into doing that as like a side hustle or a business. Well, yeah, that's not an endeavor you want to do unless you have extra cash lying around.
All right. Again, gevdeals.com. You buy 150 decommissioned Dell workstations.
Yeah, just slap a 3060 into those and send them out into the wild.
I saw that for $2,000. 150 decommissioned Dell workstations for $2,000.
That's wild. All right.
I mean, I need to do some math real quick.
I mean, you got to have the storage for all that.
Let's see.
Yeah, well, and you have to get it within 5 days. You need to be able to get it and transport it within 5 days of the auction ending.
So I need to get a U-Haul.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Good. Let's see. Oh, hey. All right. So I pulled up Reno out of curiosity. Let's see what's there's a fucking fire truck for sale.
Yeah.
All right.
Usually there's only like 2 things in Reno at a time. You have to switch it to the 250-mile radius so that you can get like Sacramento and stuff.
Oh no, there is like a lot of iMacs, MacBooks, and iPads.
Yeah.
And like the starting bid is $25. It looks like.
How much is the fire truck?
I saw one that was 15 iPads for $80.
Oof.
That's amazing. Hold on, let me go back to that one, Aaron.
I need to know this.
All right. Let's see. So it's not a fire truck. It's a flatbed liftgate truck.
All right.
$35. It is painted red though, and does have like fire company logo.
Wait, how much was it?
$135.
Insane.
$135.
For a 1986 truck with only 21,000 miles.
That's insane.
Okay, but what's the issue on it? What's the problem?
I have to tell you, right?
Tried to find it.
They do. They tell you in the description.
These aren't car dealers, man. They're government employees.
Bad transmission or torque converter. And it was being driven when it lost most of its transmission fluid. It appears the torque converter also loose in the bells housing. So a new transmission, depending on the truck, is like $2,000 to $3,000. And you're looking at torque converter, I don't know. So hey, a whole giant pickup truck with a lift gate for like $3,000 is still a really fucking good deal.
It's a really good deal.
All right, we need to move on. But I have one final question that is nagging at the back of my brain now. Do you think if you purchased a fire truck, do you think they'd let you drive it?
They got it right.
I would think so.
They've got to give you a piece of paper to hand to a police officer that pulls you over. Says, I just bought this and I can drive a fire truck for like 3 weeks or something.
But I feel like if you could, someone would have done it already. I don't know.
I'm sure people have. I bet people have been driving fire trucks around.
Oh man,
you can paint your car to look almost exactly like a cop car, and not get in trouble.
Just can't turn on lights and sirens.
Yeah, there's like a couple legally protected things. Like you can't have the exact logo of the like local police department,
Sure.
And you can't have the lights on. You can't have them on.
Dude,
Yeah.
Duncan, I hate that you
showed a
me this
whole new
website.
world to him.
Yeah.
It's super messed up.
Well, okay, no, like legitimately, right now, a 2015 Ford Explorer, you can buy it for $500, right?
Uh-huh.
And the only thing wrong with it needs a new catalytic converter. That's like $2,000, right? Okay. How much? Let's see how much these fucking sell used for.
Oh man. A whole new
Like $5,000 to $2,300.
It's a.
How many miles
I'm telling
on
you,
this
if you make that a hobby, it is a cash positive hobby.
Interesting. All right.
Fucking just. Oh my god, dude! This is
All of a sudden,
It's
this
unfortunate
interest in
Reno
being
is-
a car mechanic. I don't know.
Right?
this is the
But you know, it's not a cash positive hobby. Getting laid
What?
off from your job.
No kidding, man.
no, no, that is
Microsoft announces more layoffs.
It
doesn't
Super
stop.
Layoff cast continues.
It doesn't stop, man.
Doesn't stop. Their plan here was it's the continuation of a mass layoff plan to get rid of around 10,000 employees. And it looks like they have like something like 6,840 to go. So
And we don't know where in Microsoft.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it not specified.
It does seem like some of it is in gaming, though.
All right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They've made specifically. They said, as part of this process, we've made the painful decision to reduce the size of our gaming workforce by approximately 1,900 roles.
Oh,
About a third of it is gaming.
that's nuts, man.
That is, considering how many people they brought on. Like, holy shit, that is a ton. Like,
Yeah.
how many people from the fucking Activision? What the fuck?
Yeah.
There's someone's tallying it up.
Like, they were super profitable too. Like, that's something also that's like crazy to that's something that's like crazy to think about though. It's like they were like giga profitable, gaming and otherwise last year. They're still just like, no, fuck you.
Yep.
I think they've also hired like a lot of like game studio apparatuses though that they've then crippled. Like,
I mean, yes.
I feel like a lot of these layoffs are probably in teams that they purchased and then went, all right, sit there and do nothing, and we're gonna cancel all your projects. And then they're going, somehow these guys stopped making as much money as we expected, and now they're laying them off.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
I don't know what they're doing over
here.
there, to be honest. Like, if the one bit of positive news that had been coming out of Xbox was like they were finally starting to get their games plan rolling out after however many years.
Yeah,
and they just got like a bunch of good games out in a row.
Yep.
Oh my. Okay, sure. You know what?
And
Is what it is.
Microsoft's going to just continue to Microsoft. That's what it does.
yeah. Ever since Oblivion came out, I have been on a big Elder Scrolls kick in general, watching a lot of stuff about it. And it baffles me that Microsoft now owns the Elder Scrolls, and they are just kind of okay with the fact that they've let Bethesda make no Elder Scrolls game for like over a decade.
Yeah, because they're making Starfield, because they thought Starfield was going to be the next big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 13
they were wrong, but-
years.
Yep.
It's been so long.
But they put other hits out in between, though. So, like, I don't like Fallout 4, but it was a big hit.
Made a lot of money,
that was only
though.
4 years out. And that was only 4 years after. And then, they put out, this was a terrible game, but it's apparently decent now. 4 or 5 years after that, they put out Fallout 76.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I think what was the Starfield just came out? What 2023?
That sounds right.
Yeah, 2023. So it's like that. It's not like they're not putting out fucking games, and the
It's
only
just
game
such a valuable IP to leave desolate.
So, like,
well, no,
yeah,
they are working on it though. Like they are working.
As far as we know, they are working on it. We have seen very, 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 very little, but they are working on it.
We've seen a sweeping shot of a landscape.
Yes, and they've had someone working on their own Sky Oblivion, and then they had people working on like Redfall.
Well, that's not Bethesda.
I know.
So remember, their publisher structure is stupid because they have ZeniMax, which owns them, and then they have Bethesda, the publisher, and then they have Bethesda, the developer. So Bethesda, the developer, they've been on a decent clip as far as release timing goes. Like,
they've
Fallout
stopped putting out good
76.
games.
I mean, yeah, Fallout 76 came out. They've been putting out a game about every 5 years or so, on average. So it's like, assuming that Starfield's DLC got done and wrapped up, last year, we'll probably see Elder Scrolls in like 2030, 2029.
There was a leaked release plan document during COVID from Bethesda that
but that turned out to be wrong for a lot of reasons, but
well, it turned out to be wrong because of COVID, and everything on that list seemingly got shifted. I think it was 2 years, and so the most recent confirmation is that following with the other items on that list being released with a 2-year time shift, Oblivion Remake has been released also on a 2-year time shift of that original schedule. So the implication from that is that we won't see Elder Scrolls 6 until 2028.
So I actually just pulled that up. It's from the leaked roadmap.
It says 2028, right? Or it says 2026, so the 2-year shift would be 2028.
No, it says fiscal year 2024. It was supposed to be is when it was supposed to come out. So it's supposed to come out next year, but it also says that Oblivion Remaster is supposed to be fiscal year 2022. Came out 3 years later.
Okay, so
I think all of these,
not 2.
I think all of these are probably up or wrong at this point. I'm also going to assume Project Hibiki was something related to what's it called? The people that made Hi-Fi Rush.
I forget their name. But yeah,
the Hi-Fi Rush people. So most of the stuff on this list did come out. Doom Eternal and DLC, Deathloop, Elder Scrolls, online stuff, Starfield. Starfield was come out in 2021. So it got pushed 2 years. So, and there has been a lot of teasing of Fallout 3 Remastered. That's on this list. Dishonored 3, we'll see. I don't know. I don't have faith at all in Bethesda anymore.
Yeah.
Like whatsoever. I think that their best days are behind them. I know I've talked about this on the show
too, because this Oblivion remake's actually great. And
yeah, but that's not them. That's Virtuous.
Yeah, it's just like, right. Well, that's why it feels so bad, because it's like they went to someone else and they said, "Hey, can you do this thing for us?" And it just came out like exactly like how it should have. It's literally the same game with a nice coat of paint. They fixed some detrimental bugs to the game, like things that were actually like negative on the quality of life of playing it, and then they went out of their way to maintain bugs that people would interact with regularly while playing the game. And then they fixed the jank leveling system that was like a huge drag upon playing Oblivion in general. And I'm like, yeah, in general, they just made improvements to an already good game.
So I'm really enjoying the Oblivion remaster, but I also feel that it is. I am a person who says the last time Bethesda felt fresh and innovative was Oblivion, because Skyrim was them taking Oblivion and kind of improving core systems, and then
Right.
ever since they've been spinning their wheels. Like I fully believe ever since then they have just been spinning their goddamn wheels. And since then, and at the time of Oblivion and even Skyrim, they were king of the genre. They were like, this big RPG free roam thing.
Right.
And since then they have been beaten by other studios at that game.
Yeah.
Like they, Cyberpunk, and
good.
Witcher 3 are both significantly better RPGs than anything Bethesda has ever made. Baldur's Gate, if you're willing to do the turn-based thing, like I think that they have become, I think like if you put that Oblivion remake out, like let's wipe Oblivion from everyone's memories, right? That didn't exist. They went from Morrowind to Skyrim.
Right.
And you were to put out that like remaster today as a new game, like Elder Scrolls Oblivion, people would not nearly look at it as kindly.
Yeah.
And I think that it's because their games are fucking annoying now. Like as much as I've been enjoying Oblivion for the writing and the story, it's like, oh, I'm in this building. I had to load to get into the building. Now if I want to go into the basement of the building, it has to load again.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
The insane idea that you level up and the game gets harder.
Yes, yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
That it's actually really funny when you go like have people who play the rest of the game and then go to do the hero of Kavach like last and the main story last. Because getting in and rescuing Kavach suddenly becomes the hardest shit in the entire game.
A level 30 plus Kavach is like this insane torrent of unreal powerful Daedra just pouring in. It's fucking wild. So I think Bethesda being a pretty huge part of Microsoft's gaming strategy. I think they're on a general downturn. Obviously, Active Blizzard has been bad for a while.
Yeah, the difference with Actibliz is they still print money in a big way.
They do.
So, but I think that. But Bethesda also prints money. Like you look at like Starfield. Starfield was a top 10 selling game of 2023.
I just feel that a lot of their major studios are studios that are in downturn, and that I feel as though they're currently making money, and that we're gonna start noticing, why is Xbox making less money on game sales? Because a lot of games are gonna start coming out that are like tiring,
Well, we do this check-in every now and then because we used to be an Xbox, not Xbox podcast, as Aaron knows.
Right.
Might as well do the studio check-in. 343 Industry, they haven't even changed this on their website, which just makes this even funnier now. 343 Industries is now Halo Studios. No one knows what they're working on. Everyone thinks it's a remake of Halo 1.
Man.
Another one.
God damn it.
Yep. It's to get their feet wet in Unreal Engine. They're gonna remake the first one in Unreal Engine 5.
They do desperately need to do
that. So Age of Empires, World's Edge people just put out Age of Mythology Retold last year. So cool.
Fine.
That's a game that came out. The Coalition is working on another remaster of Gears of War 1, and then they have not put out a new video game since 2019. No idea what they're working on.
Yikes.
Couldn't tell you. Oh wait, no, that's right. They're working on Gears E-Day, which is years and years away from being out.
Oh my god.
And also, I mean, that's a cool concept, like living through E-Day as young Marcus and Dom. But it feels really weird that you aren't, finishing your trilogy. But
That is
I understand.
strange.
Compulsion Games just put out South of Midnight. That game's dope. That game's really dope. And they also put out We Happy Few not that long ago. But yeah, I love South of Midnight. I think that game is going to be one of those underrated gems like Alice Madness Returns, where a bunch of people get to it years later, and I'm going to be yelling, "I told you, fuckers!" So, like,
has the gameplay been getting better?
Say Southern. Yes, because they give you more stuff to play with.
Okay.
That said, and the platforming gets a lot better.
Good.
But by the time I got through that last boss fight, I was like, I am so done with this game's content. It is
Bummer.
not that interesting. Like, it gets better.
Okay.
But like, so you can weave stuff together. So like you can, no pun intended, because you're a weaver. So you can like mind control a dude and then have him attack another guy, and then while he's doing that, you can like stun the other guy. So it's just you and the mind controlled guy just wailing on him.
All right.
But I don't know. I don't think the enemies are all that interesting outside of the boss fights. I think like that's my biggest problem with the game is I don't think the enemies are interesting. Your kit doesn't get interesting till later in the game, and even then it's not great. But I'm gonna be real. Everything else about that game is so fucking good that I didn't really give a shit.
Wow.
Like
All right.
I got to the end. It was, and like I had a great time. The music is spectacular.
Ooh.
Holy shit. And each boss gets its own like theme song.
Nice.
And also it's just a very unique setting, like, Gothic South, man.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking cool. Yeah, like I was not sold during the first 2 chapters. There's 14 chapters. I was not sold during the first 2. The 3rd chapter, where you do your first boss with boss specific theme folk music, is when I was just like, oh, that was really fucking cool. And then more of that started showing up, and it gets better and better the more you go through it, and I was having a fucking great time.
Cool.
So I can't say enough things about Compulsion Games. And I have loved 2 out of the 3 games they made. They also made Contrast, which was a PS4 launch title that I loved the living shit out of.
Interesting.
So,
all right.
Yep. Double Fine. Guys, it's been 4 years since Psychonauts 2. Please put out a video game or a trailer for a video game.
Make a game or tell us you're alive.
Yeah, I don't, and I don't look at Tim Schafer's Blue Sky, and it's just nothing.
It's personal Blue Sky.
Yep.
Interesting.
What's going on? Just like nothing. I don't know, and then same thing with the like the Double Fine Twitter. They're like, here's some concept art we did, and I'm like, that's cool. You should,
man.
that's I like Psychonauts concept art, but I would like a new game of some kind.
Right.
Please. So yeah, the initiative is still working on Perfect Dark.
Right. Somewhere.
They've been working on Perfect Dark for 5 years. No,
Probably
7 years. They've been working on Perfect Dark. It's very dark, apparently.
It's very dark. It's perfectly dark, in fact.
In Exile put out Wasteland 3 like a couple years ago. I'm not gonna bang on them too hard. And they just put out a trailer last year for Clockwork Revolution. And that game looked cool, so all right, that's fine. They're not bad. Mojang prints money forever.
Yep.
Yeah, the infinity dollar generator.
Yep. Ninja Theory just put out Hellblade 2. I would love for them to go talk to Sony about letting them use the Heavenly Sword license. But,
Right.
Probably never going to happen.
No.
Obsidian has been a real breadwinner for them. They just put out Avowed. They put out
People like
Pentiment.
Avowed.
They put out Pentiment and Grounded 2 and 3 years ago. And then apparently Outer Worlds 2 is going to be out soon.
Interesting.
It's supposed to be out, right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's so the Xbox has their game showcase on June 8th, which we'll be doing our yearly watch and react to. Gonna be a fun time, everybody, as you know. And they're doing, and after the showcase, they're doing an Outer Worlds 2 Direct. So I imagine that's this year because their post Direct game is always a game that's this holiday. So good on Obsidian for getting shit out there.
Yeah,
it's all been pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what my long shot is that they need to buy? They gotta buy Roblox. They gotta buy Roblox. They bought Minecraft. They gotta fill out the other side of the games children play duopoly.
I don't know how Microsoft feels about spending more money on video games right now.
I think Microsoft, after buying ActiveBliz, is like, we cannot do this. No thank you.
Remember, 2 million concurrent players on one Roblox game.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of potential. I don't think Microsoft's interested despite the potential.
Yeah.
So, Play Your Own Games still working on Fable. That got delayed to next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's fine.
We love delays.
Do it. Make a good Fable game. I have no. How long's that been in development?
At least since 2021.
Okay.
At least 4 years.
That's a lot. That's a lot, but it's still reasonable.
Because Forza Horizon 5 came out in 2021. So, Rare, which, funny enough, Rare was voted one of the best places to work in the UK in 2024.
Nice.
Interesting.
So, they're still doing Sea of Thieves DLC and Sea of Thieves stuff.
That's
the last time I played. Yep, that's a big money printer for them. I personally last played whenever that Monkey Island expansion came out.
Yeah, I think we streamed that. Was us checking that out.
We streamed the first 2 or 4 parts. I eventually want to go back and finish it.
Yeah,
I have not played that game since launch. So
man, it's a lot better than it was at launch.
So much better. It's so good now. One of my favorite bits of that Monkey Island part, though, is when I had to get Parker gather items for us because we had to make something in the kitchen, and one of the items was a literal red herring.
Incredible.
The fish.
Yep.
And I told him, all right, I need to go catch a red herring, and he thought I was fucking with him.
That's pretty good. This reminds me of a story I'll briefly bring up of a D&D game I was playing. My DM, he as one of the props gave us a book in real life that was of a bunch of animals. It was a big encyclopedia of animals. And one of the pages was dog-eared. So we went, oh, this is the hint page. It was the page that had a red herring on it.
Uh-huh.
It was an incredible move.
That's pretty great.
Very good. Oh my god.
Oh, that's pretty good.
All right, so Rare is they're also working on Everwild?
Yeah, they're working on Everwild, which apparently restarted development a year and a half ago. Yep. So we'll see.
We'll see.
The brand new IP, and they don't say much about it.
Yeah, no, they're not ready yet. Fine.
Turn 10 just put out a wildly disappointing Forza game 2 years ago. They was the first Forza Motorsport in 6 years, and me and Anthony were both just like, man, this kind of bad. So, so there's that. It might have gotten better because they keep updating it, but who knows? Undead Labs keeps making and keeps delaying State of Decay 3.
Oh, right.
All right. Bethesda, they shut down Alpha Dog Games. They don't exist no more.
Okay.
Tango Gameworks got bought by someone.
Yep.
As for and I think Roundhouse is the other one that got shut down. Bethesda is working on Elder Scrolls 6 finally. That's what they're working on.
Finally.
Yep. So there you go. They finished the Starfield DLC.
But so
sorry, were you gonna say something?
The thing that is probably in everyone's minds, which we kind of briefly got close to touching on earlier in this very conversation, is like, man, they came out with Starfield. They pulled people off Redfall to and probably other studios to try and get Starfield out the door, and then it was in that same formula but applied to some sci-fi setting, and just was not inspiring and just not what it needed to be.
Didn't make the money.
I don't have faith that that's going to be a good video game. I just think it's going to exist.
I guess my question is like, okay, if they pull off like the art well enough and they do good writing, like the fact that it's going to be Skyrim again, is that going to be a problem for people who are Elder Scrolls fans?
No.
I think for Elder Scrolls psychos, no. I do think for the normies that buy those games, probably a little bit, because they're starting to stall out a little bit. I think that and then you have people who are not super tuned in but into games. Like my girlfriend will play it and be like, "Wow, Cyberpunk is still way better than this," and so is all these other games. And it's like, oh well, okay. So I think there'll be a level of disappointment.
I know a lot of people that just play Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they don't even play games very much. They play Skyrim though.
Mm-hmm.
I've met 4 or 5 people that are like that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even. Some of them don't even mod Skyrim. They just play it. And they get really into role playing a character. There's a giant community still around just Skyrim. I think if you made Skyrim, but it's in a new place, it's prettier, and it's just got better animations for its combat, people will go fucking crazy for it.
Yeah, so we'll see what they have. They've shown nothing, but hopefully at some point in this development process, they decided we should improve some things somewhat.
You would hope.
No,
ZeniMax Online
even more.
Stop. ZeniMax Online is apparently working on more ESO stuff, but they are calling it a brand new AAA IP. And a lot of people are thinking it's an MMO.
Ooh.
And that's it.
It is from ZeniMax Online.
Yeah, I mean, ESO has been good for them. So if they, it's just about what's the IP? What is it? I want to know.
I don't know if it's still the case. I know ESO was briefly Japan's #1 MMO.
Oh, God.
Oh no, that's Final Fantasy now. That's
it's gotta be now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking it up.
then we have
Phantasy Star Online 2.
Sure.
That makes sense. Then we have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle from Machine Games. Just came out last December. Yeah, that's an amazing video game. That was well worth the 5-year, almost 6-year wait from them for a new game.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say enough good things about that fucking Indiana Jones game. So yeah, good on them for that. Arcane. This one's interesting. So you had 2 Arcanes. You had the one that made Redfall, and then the one that made Deathloop. And the one that made Redfall got shut down. The one that made Deathloop is now making Marvel's Blade.
Oh man. Okay. That might be interesting.
So,
yeah.
That could be cool. I think if the Dishonored / Deathloop people got a hold of Blade, that could be really fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Also, I like to think that somebody in that studio is really just super into vampires, judging by doing Redfall
and then Blade. Yeah. Look, there's untapped potential.
Yeah.
You know, we have Nosferatu coming out. I have not seen Sinners, but it seems vampire adjacent. Makes me think of like 30 Days of Night a little bit. Look, man, people like the vampires.
They do.
They do. Finally, before we get to Activision, we have id. We've just put out Doom: The Dark Ages.
They're doing Doom. Do not touch them. Let them do their thing.
Yep.
The new Doom. I got about a fourth of the way through that game, almost a fourth of it. This weekend as well, when I was stranded on a couch during carpet cleaning. And yeah, that game is fucking sick. Super good.
Not surprised.
All right. They're doing a good job. I look forward to in 5 years when we get Doom something else. Although I do feel that like I'm playing this new one and I'm just like, okay, this kind of feels like the Saints Row 4 point of I don't think you all have anywhere else to go.
Right.
Okay, Activision. They make Call of Duty and they make Tony Hawk. They got a new Tony Hawk. It's from Iron Galaxy.
Yeah.
They got a new Black Ops 6 was good. In my opinion, it was the best one in about 3 years. That's what I got to say about that. That's right. Activision. They print money.
Okay.
Blizzard. WoW is the best, like at least the best performing MMO in the MMO space right now. Overwatch is finally getting its shit together. It seems like they brought back 6v6. They're doing more collabs. They're doing everything they can to get people to come back. I have not. I probably won't.
Not with Rivals out.
But no, not with Rivals out and still in a very good place. Hearthstone is continuing to be a money printer that it always has been. It is the digital Magic the Gathering that ruins people's lives. Diablo 4 is still a money printer. They just had a collab with Berserk.
Oh wow.
They did?
Yeah. Yep. Berserk themed cosmetics.
Huh. Okay.
Yep.
Do I gotta check that out? That's fucking. I don't play Diablo 4. I love Berserk though.
I really enjoy Diablo 4, though my girlfriend and I are the definition of giga casuals, where we beat the story and then we mess around with some other stuff, and that's kind of it.
Sure.
That's kind of our thing. Like we'll do like 1 week of playing endgame and then stop. And then apparently they still have an RTS team for some reason, which just put out remastered versions of Warcraft 1 and 2 and fixed the Warcraft 3 remaster. And those were all pretty good. I played those last year. And so like Blizzard's actually doing okay. The one that actually kind of makes me mad is I don't know what they're doing with Heroes of the Storm. Like they stopped development on it, but they're still doing patch notes and balance patches to it. And then they also have done a thing where if you have Game Pass, you get a bunch of free heroes. And I'm just like, are you trying to bring it back? Are you bringing it back? Please?
I wonder if someone has finagled their way and be like, keep me on as the Heroes of the Storm person. I will just maintain that and keep people playing. And as long as people are there spending money.
I like the idea of some guy high up at Microsoft really likes Heroes of the Storm, and he was pissed that new content stopped for it other than balance patches, and it's just like, I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring it fucking back, dog. I'm gonna fucking. I'm just like, yeah.
So I, out of curiosity during the story, I've looked up what the number one MMO right now is.
Okay.
What is it?
You will never guess.
I thought it used to be WoW.
Black Desert Online.
Used to be WoW.
Not even close. Not even a little close.
Dang.
It's Dungeon Fighter Online.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
I forgot about that one.
That game is one of the most profitable games of all time.
Interesting.
That's a phone game, right? Is that on phone?
Yeah, it's on phones and computers.
That's why.
All right.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah. Sorry, I filter phone games in their own universe. I apologize.
It was a PC game. It got a phone. Like, you could play it on phone now, but it's a PC game.
Right, but I am saying that the player count when you put something on phone just explodes. Like crazy.
This game has made $22 billion.
Yeah, that does not surprise me.
It's one of like a couple existing games that has done that.
Yeah, so I think that you're looking at the phone player base there as well. It's a big part of why like Genshin and Honkai and whatnot have really exploded, is because they have very good mobile versions. You know
what's crazy? When considering how much money Dungeon Fighter Online has made, the point of comparison is not another video game.
Right.
It is other media franchises in general, and it ranks just above Cars.
Interesting.
Just above Cars, just below Transformers.
Man.
All right, so I gotta know, if you were to look at MMOs that are not on mobile, what is number one? I gotta know now.
It's World of Warcraft.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's World of Warcraft. Then you've got Final Fantasy 14. I believe the next one is old school RuneScape when it comes to profitability.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. But yeah, that makes sense.
A big part of that is that old school RuneScape got introduced on phones.
There you go. Wow.
And in particular, old school RuneScape. I mean, I'm sure with our possible discuss new podcast layout that I'll bring this up at some point. But old school RuneScape is making a lot of money over the fact that RuneScape Gold is like the perfect prison currency and is currently the world's most popular prison currency.
Yes.
Bronson,
you told me about this.
I regret our potential changes coming up, because this means we are going to see a lot more old school RuneScape.
You are. I will tell you about leagues when it happens.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that means, you know what? That means in 2026, when World of Warcraft Midnight comes out, oh boy.
Oh, weekly.
I'm going to get to do... Oh, yeah.
Weekly updates. That's funny. Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, yeah. Are there any more studios, Bronson? I want to make sure we covered it completely.
That's all of them.
Okay.
That's all of them. So it's kind of mixed, but it's kind of fucked. These layoffs are happening right as things are getting back on track, basically.
Yeah. Yep. So I wish the best of luck to the people that got laid off. Hopefully they find more solid footing than at Microsoft, because, man.
You know, it's much more deeply tragic than layoffs. Like, sure, you guys lost your jobs. And it's horrible,
you lost income. You're not able to do the thing that you wanted to do.
You know, it's much worse. Tekken 8's not going to have a Waffle House in it.
What the hell?
Damn it!
Yeah.
Damn it!
This next
Waffle
news story.
House, take this called.
You know
Tekken
why?
8 boss says he's tried to reach Waffle House for a crossover to no avail, which is, according to Harada, somewhat unusual. In most cases, when he has reached out for collaboration, he at least gets an answer, and the answer is no.
Right.
In this case, he's just not got an answer.
Too busy fighting.
Now, I know that there is a previous story where Harada tried to reach out to KFC to get the Colonel in Tekken for Tekken 7.
I guess.
And it didn't work. They just told him no. And they ended up getting Negan from The Walking Dead.
Imagine he had 13 stance changes for each spice. It'd be sick. Right?
13 fists and flavors. So the thing
alright.
is that this, in case you're not aware of the background here, people have for a long time now been pressing Harada on Twitter, going, add Waffle House as a stage, add Waffle House as a stage, for love of God, add Waffle House as a stage. Largely because Waffle House has a reputation for being a place where you get some waffles and you throw down.
Yep.
You throw down and you know, they're ready for it.
Yeah, the Waffle House employees at some point just like it's part of the job description.
Part of the job. It's part of the job. People fight.
You see that lady that just caught that fucking chair like ages ago?
Damn.
And she got fired for it. It was deeply tragic.
Bullshit, man.
Wait, what? Why would you fire her for that?
Fucking school ass rules. No tolerance. Fuck you.
They got scared of the social media response. In fact, Waffle House historically has not been good at handling their own reputation.
That's the thing. So that's the thing about this story, is that on one level, on one hand, yes, if you don't want your employees being in danger, doing this encourages Waffle House being a fighting venue. I get that.
Right.
But I think the more fun and dumb way to go about it is to lean into it, and it's like hockey. Like, look, this is part of the experience. You gotta, you're coming here with hands, all right?
But like part of the reason you watch and get into hockey is hockey fights,
right?
Yeah, I know what I'm there for.
I don't.
They should absolutely be leaning in as Waffle House's status as a PvP zone. They should. But they have historically been pretty adamantly against allowing any public acknowledgement of their reputation for being a place where people get into fights.
I can't imagine why. But
everyone knows people get into fights at fucking Waffle House.
There's definitely would have to be a transitionary period of like, there are people who went to Waffle House just to have a job and they couldn't get it elsewhere, and like those people don't deserve to be getting involved in these fights. But the
thing is, the other major meme they have that they have leaned into is the Waffle House Index. They're known as a disaster index for whether or not a Waffle House is open, because the Waffle House has like extensive protocols. I think it started out as just a joke where it's like Waffle Houses were just open, I guess, for some reason during natural disasters, and then they went, we got to lean into that. That's good marketing.
Yeah. And
so they created a bunch of rules that it's like you got to still come to work if there's a giant hurricane going.
That's fucked up.
So the Waffle House Index is an unofficial government index for how bad a natural disaster is, and that's if Waffle House is planning on closing down, then it's really bad.
Okay, well, so if that's actually the case, then like that's shitty to do to employees. But if you cater your business so that you are catering to the people who are like, hell yeah, I'll be here in a hurricane. I will throw fists in a hurricane. Like, these people have signed on for the experience.
So that is the market they're capturing there. Is they're capturing the people who are like, I don't care. I'm gonna stick around in the tornado.
I'm gonna make waffles and bust heads.
Further, it's not entirely bad. It is, I feel, somewhat messed up because, they're like, we don't care if there's a giant torrential downpour. Come to work. But
that's fucked up. Like, as someone who I have a car that is wildly unsafe during like snow and bad conditions, and I'm just like, I have repeatedly told workplaces, no, absolutely not.
People have been dying in Amazon warehouses because they've been told they can't leave during, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
But Waffle Houses are also known for taking extensive disaster precautionary measures. Mm-hmm. So like, if you live near a Waffle House and you know a natural disaster is coming and you can't leave, the Waffle House is unironically one of the safest places for you to go, because they build their buildings in mind with disasters, and they have like backup generators. Like the steps they take to remain open during these situations are legitimately good safety steps.
Sure.
I love that is a thing. I love that is a thing so much.
There are a lot of restaurants and brands that I think if they just leaned into some of these aspects would actually do decent business and would be interesting.
Yeah. Oh yes, absolutely. Well, it's Aaron, you and I in this conversation. We're gonna do a whole segment on this on the new show format. Logos are terrible now.
Yep.
Yeah, they are.
Logos are just the absolute worst shit in the world now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? There's a video recently by Hank Green that was rating AI company logos by how much their logo looks like a butthole.
All right.
Yeah.
A lot of them look like buttholes, it turns out.
Okay.
This AI character seems kind of chill. I've
been watching Silicon Valley recently. Great show, by the way.
Yeah, I hear it's good.
Show.
But it's super funny. But I'm just like, I feel like there are people in the tech industry who took that show very literally.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is whether it be looking at fiction or looking at stuff that's like about them that is criticizing them. They just like, what if we just did that? And it's like you have no self-awareness, nothing. This is why art programs in school are needed, is because of you.
Yeah.
And yes, absolutely. I mean that there are. Look, dude, we have had a million conversations about how media literacy is dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
right?
So yeah.
And anyway, I think a Waffle House Tekken 8 level will be fantastic. I think Waffle House could benefit from it if they really leaned into it, especially if they're already putting like the nice people in danger already.
I think that Waffle House has had a consistent mishandling of its branding. You know who else has had a consistent mishandling of their branding?
Okay.
HBO Max is now it's going from Max. It's going from Max. It's changing its name back to HBO Max.
It never left in my mind.
So it went from HBO Go to HBO Max.
Go.
To Max, and now it's HBO Max again.
I mean, I don't know. I think everyone was calling it HBO Max anyway, so like this was good on them, but also like, man, what were you thinking? What were you thinking?
Yeah, they're running into this issue that they don't have a lot of shows. They just don't have many.
Oh,
and they have historically made up for that with having good shows, and now they're starting to not have that either. So
yeah, you're kind of right about that, because like I actually like looked at my Mac, like I get Max for free, and I'm like, what do I watch on here? It's like Silicon Valley and the Boondocks. Okay, both those are old. Rick and Morty, that's still getting new stuff, but they only have the first 7 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Peacemaker, that's newer. I love Peacemaker. And it's just like The Sopranos. It's like all stuff that's older. Great, it's good stuff. But like the only thing new on that list is like the only thing new on there I really watch is like Harley Quinn.
Yeah, it's not going to occupy you for your long time. Like once you've seen The Sopranos, you've seen The Sopranos.
Sopranos is a great show.
It's a great show. But you know, like it's not gonna draw new people in. There isn't a clamoring of new audiences for The Sopranos. And so they're hoping that pivoting back to being HBO Max when they were performing better will make them perform better again.
Okay.
There's just not much to this story other than,
Yep.
I remember that when this happened, we had a big conversation about how like getting rid of your big branding thing for no reason seemed really fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. It is proven to be getting rid of your main brand that has been around as a premium brand since the 70s is really fucking stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think this daisy chains well into the immediate next story because this is illustrative of the negative air surrounding the streaming space right now. Things are kind of going not good for a lot of like streaming companies. The example though of a streaming company that's doing pretty good right now is Netflix. Ever since they rolled out cracking down on password sharing, Netflix has started to make a bunch more money again. And now their new idea is Netflix to get AI generated ad breaks in 2026.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Netflix has an ad supported tier, as most streaming services do now. And next year they want to get in. They want to include dreaded pause ads in the middle of programming on their ad-supported tier made by AI.
Yeah.
So, aren't these the guys that make Black Mirror?
Yes.
Yes.
And
yes.
So that's going to be a fun experience.
But they've never watched it.
Yeah. So, it's what that actually looks like, I think is unclear. AI generated ads. AI doesn't feel like it's at the point yet where it can generate like consistent and coherent stuff. It also doesn't feel necessary. Like you could just put a commercial there.
Well, especially for like, is this for their programming AI? Or is this just random stuff?
I think it might be random stuff, but they don't really say.
Because if it's their programming, like you just snag clips of that programming, so it's got to be for other stuff.
Hear me out.
It's individual. Okay, go ahead. Good.
AI generated ad that is based off of the show you're watching, and they try and make it appear seamless. Like it's clear that it's an ad, but like the scene that you're watching just turns into the ad and it becomes some weird AI nightmare. Like where like they're like, is he alive? Pulls up Clorox slowly on the screen.
Look,
that's if it's that, I'm all for it. That sounds hilarious. Like the fucking the version of Star Wars that was edited to have an ad in it for that Mexican beer, the Cerveza Cristal, where it's your father wanted me to give you this, and then Obi-Wan reaches into the like weird like trunk that he had the lightsaber in that he gives to Luke, but then he opens it up and it's a bunch of beers and it's Cerveza Cristal. That if they're doing that with AI, I'm for it. That's funny.
Yeah,
I like the idea when you bring this up. I like the idea of AI, like Seinfeld's on Netflix. It's one of their biggest performers, actually. I love the idea of AI generated Seinfeld for advertising. That sounds like that is like the funniest thing in the world I could possibly ever imagine. Just Kramer busting through the door, telling you about fucking like GoDaddy. Oh my god!
There was a guy that did do AI generated Seinfeld.
He did.
Oh god! Oh, I did not know about this.
It was good.
It was good for a time.
A random dude. It was good for a time. It was a random dude that trained a AI of the characters. He trained an AI to just write episodes of Seinfeld, and then he made like a really rudimentary system that would have characters act out, like in a game setting, act out episodes of Seinfeld. And then I think it got really racist.
It got in the middle of Jerry Seinfeld doing a stand-up bit. He told a transphobic joke, and the stream got shut down.
Yeah.
It was called Nothing Forever, and it was just like this,
Right.
not quite PS1 looking, but like of that level. And then like characters would go to sit down as part of their scripting, but then they would like turn the wrong way and their bodies would contort and like twist. And every new scene, it's like, have you tried out the new restaurant? And the chat would go, new restaurants. And it was, the AI like was not good, but it was funny. And it was kind of like, kind of a joke on Seinfeld as a concept too, like breaking down like, yeah, no, they're just living, and then new girlfriend, new restaurant, and just there's some great stuff. They got some great clips of it on YouTube. Restaurant. But the person who made it is like, I could see how we could use this technology for every show. I'm gonna do deals with television, channels to just make AI for every kind of show, and this is how we'll do entertainment. It's like, you are the devil. You cannot make all content this.
I think the guy that did AI SpongeBob probably had a better view of it.
Okay.
Because AI SpongeBob, like, I don't know, he must have been nudging it along, but like it was just like nightmare material. Like it would be episodes of SpongeBob forever. It would just be like weird ad-lib episodes of SpongeBob. But they would have moments where like Squidward would walk out and he'd just start repeating a date over and over again. January 28th, 2026. January 28th, 2026. And he just it would just get scary sometimes.
That gives me an idea for like a SpongeBob plot where it's like the date of an assassination. And it's just Squidward waking up and repeating it. And turns out Squidward is like the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Where it's just like you say a trigger word and he just freaks out. And there you go.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Squidward assassination. Even better.
There was a brief era of Twitch of a couple shows that were infinitely generated low poly AI interaction, like infinitely generated AI scripts acted out with low poly characters following the instructions of the AI script. And it was somewhat interesting.
I think AI technology will get better over time, but I think that the people who tend to create and drive these programs are the people who understand art the least, and so that will limit what the AI can tell as far as entertaining stories and relatable characters.
I also think that the people who really push this AI shit understand humans as a whole voice.
Yes.
Just like you're in an AI meeting, you're talking, and they're just like, yeah, this is gonna murder all these jobs at this company.
Yep.
And they're stoked about it. And you're just like, why would you be cool with this, dude?
Yeah. These are the same people who are like Mark Zuckerberg creates a VR headset and then is like, check out this boardroom. Great.
Oh my god. It's just,
So.
Yeah. Well, you know who does understand humans almost uncannily well? And
I forgot that this was the next news story, and I still conjured this name.
Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima has given a USB stick like a will full of video game ideas for after he's dead.
I think this is awesome. I think this is great. I love this idea.
I love that. I do know that if this man could turn his consciousness into an AI, he absolutely would. That's what this tells me.
In the story, he says that he perhaps has 10 years left of time to make games or films.
How
old is he?
60.
Yeah. Just turned 60.
So
I don't know. I think it could go longer, but it's just his estimation. I don't know.
So he's saying that he did this because he realized that he turned 60 and that as he is aging, he's realizing that like his physical body is going to stop keeping up with himself and his ability to consume with and judge like the things that he wants to make, and that as he becomes 70 and 80, his eyesight will worsen. He's gonna think slower. It's just, you know, he's gonna deteriorate, and he's like getting to the point where he's old enough that he has to actually legitimately consider the fact that he literally won't physically be able to keep up with making games anymore.
Okay, so but Martin Scorsese is 82 and still making movies.
I mean, sure. I don't think it's impossible for him to keep up, but like it's a reality that a lot of people can't. And so you don't know.
Your involvement is different at that point. Martin Scorsese is not making movies the way he used to. And as a consequence, his movies come out different than the way they used to. And I think for Kojima, it seems like there's a bit of a feeling of he might want to stop working on games before that happens.
Yes, I could see that. Kojima is, especially ever since he got free of Konami and has had entire control of his projects within what budgets will allow. I think that he really appreciates that and really wants to. But he also realized he wants that full control, and I think if he gets older and still does it, he's gonna have to give up some of that.
Now, I don't think the actual implication here is that he's planning on stopping on working on games before he dies.
No, I don't. No.
It's clear that he plans to work on games until he dies, which is why he made the USB stick in the first place, because it'll have his ideas in case he dies. But it's made him come up with ideas specifically pertaining to aging. Being an effect on your character and, you know, the way it works. He gave an idea that is, quote, it starts out with the player being born, you're a child, and then gradually over time you become an adult in the game. You fight various enemies, like with the previous examples, MGS3's the end.
Right.
If you keep playing the game, you will become a 70 or 80-year-old man. However, at this age, you will be weaker. Your eyesight will worsen. When you're a teenager, you'll be able to run faster, but by the time you reach 60, you'll slow down a bit. Kojima explained, revealing that although your character will be in better physical condition when they are younger, they will have more knowledge and experience when they are older. This aging would affect your strategy as to how you would deal with enemies, but no one would buy it.
Well, I mean, okay.
He's right.
I think you combine this. You combine this with a Sifu Infinity Blade-esque thing where you use your prime to affect the world in a certain way and drop certain knowledge, and then that character dies. You start with a new character who doesn't know any of that stuff, and then work your way into those new spaces.
And you're like picking it up as an example. That's like Rogue Legacy,
right? You are passing down knowledge, but you have to guide the new character to the places where, all right, here's where I drop this knowledge. Build on it.
All right, I'd be down for this.
Yeah,
I'd be down for this.
There's a Wushu martial arts game.
Okay.
That is entirely about this.
Okay.
I think that's Sifu.
Yeah, it is.
I think you're talking about Sifu.
No, it's not at all Sifu. It's way fucking crazier and absurd.
Okay.
This is a game where you like kidnap people, put them in cages, and then like create enmity by putting their family in cages, and then like you accidentally piss off monkeys. And,
okay, so my game is entirely different from this.
Generational issue for your family.
I'm not talking about whatever this is.
No, this is an extremification of a similar idea.
Good lord.
On.
I wish I could make games, man. I would make some games.
I think it's Path of Martial. No.
I mean, you can make games.
It's hard.
Yeah, but it is hard. You can still do it. I believe in you.
Yeah. This story got me like on a sobering thought of like, man, imagine being like a 60-year-old game creator, and then you work on AAA games, and you think about the length of development that comes with that. Like, you're 60, all right, how many games are left for you?
Well,
yeah,
so
that's true.
That's something that I actually had recently with the Switch 2 stuff, where like. All the guys who were big NES people are going to be in their 70s in a minute here.
Yeah.
Or they already are in their 70s.
Yep.
So realistically, this is going to be the last round of games from the original Nintendo people that you know and love.
Man.
You know, like Shigeru Miyamoto is 72, dog.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You know, like,
Ooh.
He's gonna run out of time.
you know, so
I
like
found it. It's it's called the Matchless Kung Fu.
you know,
Where do cages work into this kung
never heard of
fu?
this.
It's fucking crazy. I can't get into it. I can't get into
Yeah, no,
it right
that
now.
doesn't sound like something I want to get into, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Funny game.
God.
Real quick, AG Enuma is 62.
Yeah.
So yeah, like once again, we have probably one full console generation of those big old Nintendo people.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, yeah, it's done. And you got to hope that their successors learned a lot from those guys.
They've had a lot of time.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, and Kojima is infamously an ideas guy. He's an ascended ideas guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, he must pass on that power of being an ideas
Man
guy
has great ideas
to his successors.
That man made walking engaging
behind his ideas. Yeah, he did.
Engaging.
Yes. Hold down those left and right triggers for your dear life, and you're gonna walk across this landscape for 15-20 minutes while fucking ghosts that are defeated by piss and shit are coming at you.
Well, another game he proposed during this interview was a forgetting game where the player would have to play through quickly because the main character is gradually forgetting important information and abilities. And if you take too long of a break from the game, for example, if you don't play every day, the main character will gradually forget things such as how to fire her gun or what their job is.
Oh, that's kind of fucked
and
up.
the forgetfulness builds up until the player is unable to move. And players would have to take a week off school or work to play it.
What?
I
don't know, man.
I don't. It's very obvious that these are coming from the man who made Boktai.
Yeah.
This is. It is very. When I hear all these stories, I'm just like, this is definitely the man who made Boktai.
So the thing is, I hope that his ideas USB stick is filled with ideas like this, and then the people who take over are just like, well, that's insane, and no one would play that, but we can do this with it.
I mean, I feel like that's Kojima's history, is that he comes out with a bunch of really fucking weird ideas, and then a bunch of like rational men in suits go, okay, so can we tone that down?
We're not even men in suits, just here's something that people will enjoy playing.
Now he has his own studio where there are fewer of those men, and therefore he can get crazier.
Yeah.
Oh, so, and this is going to be my hot take for the day. I think Kojima's best work was Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 4.
Yeah.
I think that man without an editor is just like, I enjoy Death Stranding a little bit more now that I'm going back to it. But I also like sit here and go, am I enjoying this as nearly as much as I enjoyed any of the Metal Gear games? And the answer is absolutely
it's
not.
a different game
feels too high-minded. I feel like I need to
or aiming too high-minded,
pull myself in and go like, I need to enjoy this art when I'm playing Death Stranding.
See, I feel like it's trying to be high-minded, but it is some shit you would get from someone who is in their first year of philosophy class in college.
Well, and the thing is, some of this shows up in Metal Gear Solid as well.
Yes, but he obviously had, and some of that shit in Metal Gear Solid, I fucking cringe at.
No,
but it's not as like.
Though, is that it's first year philosophy student who has been gifted the power of prophecy.
Yes,
yeah,
that is true. Like that stuff totally shows up in Metal Gear Solid, but it's contained a little bit better.
I feel like the way they structure the Metal Gear Solid world, with its enemies and such. I think like you go down rabbit holes. We have that wiki that they released for the PS3, just like trying to figure out what the hell even happened. But it's a little more digestible than Death Stranding, which is like it's a post-apocalyptic future, but it's like there's this man just sat and made up what a new world would look like. Whereas Metal Gear Solid, like I can figure this out. It's in the real world, sort of.
In this article, he actually talks about how he wanted to do more weird stuff.
I bet
in Death Stranding, he wanted to make Norman Reedus get slowly more haggard and disgusting. But then he was like, he's a big superstar. He's got to look good.
Yeah, he's an actor. He'll act.
Yeah.
He's fine. This is not The Rock we're talking about. This isn't Jason Statham.
He's gotta make him. He's like, I gotta make him look good. I don't want to make him look haggard and disgusting as much. He already did make him look haggard and disgusting. He just didn't want it to get like. He wanted
that was just Norman Reedus.
Didn't want to go all the way with it.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I'm calling it there. Yeah. I think that's a fun note to end on. Kojima's ideas will live on, and probably his skin. He'll probably be a character that pops up over and over again in future games.
I am sure that there will be plenty of people who totally do that. They like put a Hideo Kojima stand in their game.
Yeah. All right. That was a week of video game news. A lot of bummers, some fun things in there.
Yeah,
but you know how it is.
Week of video game news full of bummers. That always happens.
I feel like there's someone who listens to this podcast every week and will literally stop playing video games because of this.
Look, we're working on it, you guys.
Right.
It's just the nature of being in your late 20s, early 30s.
We're working on it. Us specifically, we're going to fix video games.
Yes, we're going to do it.
That's what we're doing right now. Yes. We're working on it. Don't worry about it.
And you can support that by giving us some likes and subscribes to help our channel. That would help us a lot. Mm-hmm. Feel free to follow us on social media and various social medias you've been seeing popping up in the top left corner of the video version of this podcast. We are on Discord, which if you want to go join our Discord, we are hanging out there talking about video games and everything else. Otherwise,
do us on YouTube.
Yes,
YouTube's important.
YouTube's huge for us.
YouTube stuff.
If you could help us out there,
watch all our YouTube stuff.
That would be great. We'll be dropping clips from this very podcast throughout the week. We're going to get some edited content to you on Friday, and then other than that, we will be back here on Sunday to do another episode. So, yeah.
Please subscribe, or I will circle my cultivation base to destroy my fleshly body.
You keep these just feel like less about trying to coerce people, more like excuses to torture yourself.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Anyway, all right, you guys, we're heading out of here.
Fapping while he lights himself on fire.
Exactly.
All right, we're getting out of here. Go play video games, you guys. Bye.
Go play video games, peoples.